Hello there, Aries. Thank you so much for stopping by for your weekly tarot video forecast for the week of May 6th through the 12th. I have already cleared the cards for the reading. I'm just putting the final shuffle on before I start to put them down. This is a general reading, so not everything I see here will apply to every single Aries who watches the video. Keep in mind you can also watch your rising and your moon signs, or if you feel like you need something that more specifically focuses on your particular energies, feel free to contact me and we can schedule a reading for you pretty quickly. All my contact information is on my website, which is www.amista.info. I-N-F-O. Let's put down some cards for you, Aries, and see what comes up. Excuse me. All right, my dear. The first card that I'm looking at for you guys has to do with your environment. Hello there, Manuela. Glad to see you, my dear. And so, what I'm seeing in your environment is that there's a lot of confusion. You're really not sure. It seems like there's some kind of decision that you want to make about your environment, whether it's to stay where you are or move somewhere else, or whether it's to change things in the environment, whether it's about who is sharing the environment with you. But there's something going on with your environment, and your environment is any place you have energy or effort invested. It does not have to be home. But what I'm feeling here is some pretty deep confusion about how you want to move forward with that environment in one way or another. Next thing that I'm looking at, Aries, talks to me about your subconscious leanings. And what I have showing up here is that there is a situation where you have considered and thought maybe that the idea of a partnership would be good, good, good. And now you're starting to realize, no, 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 maybe not. Not so sure that I want to be involved in something like that as far as a partnership. Now, this can apply because it's a general reading. I don't want to narrow it down too much because I think it's going to apply in different ways for different ones of you. So for some of you, this could be a new friendship. For others, this could be a new business alliance. And for others, this could be, a situation with a lover or a significant other. Hello there, Queen Goddess. Hey, hey. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. I do appreciate that. Let's see. Next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about learning style and also communication style for you Aries during the week of the 6th through the 12th. So what we have for learning style. It looks to me like there's some information that you would like to have about some situations around you. And this feels like it may be, for some of you, this may be personal, but for others of you, this may have to do with what's going on at work and what's going on with the company that you work for, or with your suppliers or vendors if you're somebody who works for yourself. But there's whichever part of your life this is coming in, what's going on with information is it's a waiting game. You're waiting to hear information. You're waiting to hear some ideas about what's going to be happening next so that you can make some respectable and reasonable plans based on that. As far as your communication style, I think you're communicating out to the people that you're working with or that you're interacting with, I should say, as much information as you can based on what you're receiving. So for some of you, the information that you're sending out is kind of short and sweet just because you really don't know what's coming next and because you're waiting to see, because you're waiting for that other information to come in so that you have more information to share. All right. Next thing I'm looking at talks to me about your work. Now, you guys know that for me, work is two things. Has to do with number one, how you make a living, and number two, what you do to improve your own inner character. So what I'm seeing about making a living, there are some things that you're collaborating with other people on, and that seems to be going smoothly. So this could be collaborating at work if you work for somebody else. This could be that you're collaborating with other companies if you have your own company. However that actually fits into your work situation, there's some good collaboration going on, and it's going smoothly and in a balanced way. A lot of creativity coming out of it, actually. The next thing that we're looking at is those ways that you improve yourself. Main theme for this week, excuse me. I think that you guys are really wanting to feel grounded and feel rooted. You may have been feeling like your energy has been a little bit scattered. And so you're trying to really come into a place where you're feeling focused and grounded and like you're not sort of all over the place with your attention span and your energies. All right, so next thing that I'm looking at for you, Aries, talks to me about those things that you stand for, or at least what's the major theme during the week. Aries, it looks to me like there's some kind of situation where you have made some sacrifices, and you made those sacrifices because um, you felt like they were just temporary. If you made those sacrifices, then later on the payoff would be better for you. And so I think that there's somebody that's saying to you, hey, how come you're working it this way? And you've had to say, well, look, I'm looking at the long picture, not just the short haul. Next thing that we have coming up talks to me about how other people perceive you, Aries, and what I have showing here is that people see you as somebody who is willing to think outside the box. You're not willing to let culture or society tell you what you should be doing or what you should be thinking. You're willing to look for solutions in places that maybe not everybody would look for solutions. Okay. So that's other people's perception of you as we go through the week, at least one other person. Next thing we have coming up talks to me about the lesson or experience for the week. So this is kind of pivotal. This is where energy starts to morph and to change into something else. And so what I have coming up here, Aries, for you is your experience. And remember, you have free will. You don't have to have this experience if you make some different decisions. So the experience coming up is you being self-sacrificing, not necessarily in the same way that I saw that you were standing up for, though. That you were self-sacrificing because you had a goal that you were trying to get to. This is self-sacrificing to make other people happy and putting yourself more or less on the back burner. Okay, so that's the experience or the lesson of the week is you nurturing, encouraging, uplifting, building up other people, but not necessarily taking the time to take the same good care of yourself. You know, even Jesus said, "Love your neighbor as yourself." And I heard a really great sermon on that preached one time, and I'm not a big preachy person because I'm much more spiritual than religious. But it was interesting that the preacher pointed out if we're loving our neighbor as ourselves, that means we have to love ourselves. We have to love ourselves. Revolutionary thought for some of us. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. The next thing that I'm looking at are things that are happening as you're experiencing this lesson or experience. So when you are sacrificing yourself for somebody else, there's something going on as far as you are working on whether you feel like this is a fair situation to you or not. I think that after you start the project that you're working on, this thing that you're doing for this other person, I think you're starting to go, hey, wait a second. How am I getting replenished here? I mean, this is not a two-way street. The other thing that we have going on is I think that you don't mind so much doing whatever it is you're doing. I think whatever it is something that you might even enjoy doing. But at the same time, it is sort of taking away from your time and your energy. And you also, I think the bigger issue is that somebody's kind of looking over your shoulder. Are you doing this the right way? Why don't you set it over here? Why don't you turn it that way? Why don't you flip it over? Wouldn't it be better if you did da 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 da? Okay, so here you are, like you're trying to uplift and encourage somebody else, and here they are. "Ah, da, 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 da. This really isn't good enough. Why don't you do it like this? Da, 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 da." Do I sense a little frustration coming out of you on that one? I bet I do. And the next card that comes up actually talks about that this is something that moves the relationship that you have with this other person backwards instead of forwards. Okay. So, where you may have been trying to help this person in order to try to bring some type of healing to the relationship, instead, what it's doing is it's exacerbating whatever this problem is that you were actually trying to help by being encouraging and uplifting because they're not taking it as encouragement or uplifting. In fact, the sense that I'm getting off of this is they're taking it as do them, that you owe them this, when in all reality, that's just not the case at all. So, Aries, you guys have free will. If you see this coming down the pike, I mean, you can choose whether this is actually a situation you want to participate in or not. All right. Now you've got the heads up. Now you can make that choice more easily. You were cooking for Cheryl? Aw. Well, that's okay. You got to enjoy your company. Real life does not take priority over virtual life for sure. Thank you, everybody, for being here, for hanging out with me. I do really, really appreciate it, for keeping me on my toes. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.